So yesterday, had the last group, the 07 group in here before you went on the ice.
Yeah.
An interesting thing happened. So let's take a little more deeper turn here.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of the workout, and you came out of the office to me to ask me about one of the kids that's
Yeah.
in the 07
Yeah.
age group. And you've asked me about a few
Yeah.
between like the Windsor and Sun County teams.
Yeah.
And it kind of dawned on me because I'm in the middle of training with this group, and you come out and ask me a question like that. And I was like, man, none of these kids know that just happened.
Right.
Right. So what happened, just for some context, you were talking with somebody who's pretty connected in the NHL world.
Yeah.
And already asking about a kid who's a 2007 born, which is not even his draft year yet.
Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen?
Exactly. And people say, and I remember people used to say this when I was young, and I give my dad a lot of credit because this was something that actually shaped a lot of how I behave, is how someone's always watching. You never know who's watching, right? You always got to be on because you don't know who's watching, especially if you're someone who's trying to get recruited for something. It doesn't even have to be a sport, like a job or whatever. You don't know who the person is that's going to help you to get where you need to go, because that's what life is. Life is people helping people get to where they want to go, you know, and you need a network to be able to get where you want to go. There's no way around it. Like people think you can do it on your own. You can't.
Yeah.
And so I brought the guys in at the end of the workout just to tell them what happened, because I was like, you know, it's easy to.
Did you use a name?
No.
Okay.
No. I didn't use any names. It was just like the principle was what I was getting at, right?
Yeah.
So I was just saying,
is good for them to hear.
Yeah. So I just said, I was like, you know, all you guys say you want to be hockey players, and some of you do, some of you don't, but all of you say you do. And people will tell you all the time, like, you never know who's watching. Like, you don't know who's around or who's going to make an impact on you in your career if you trying to be a hockey player. So I just said, while you guys were working out, Andy came out and he was talking to somebody who was asking about an 07 born. And I didn't use any names, and I said on both teams, because that's actually true.
Yeah.
And I just said the point is not who they're asking about or whatever, even though I know you guys are going to focus on that a little bit. But the point is, you don't know who around you is going to be someone that can have an impact on you. So me, for example, I'm relatively close to you guys in age, and we come in, we goof around, we work out. Yeah, to the guys we're training. It's like, you come in, we goof around, we're trying to work out, we're whatever, and I might not be someone who you think could have an actual impact on where you go and what you do. But look at what happened. A guy calls Andy. Andy asks me, and he's asked me a few times because I've been at some of the games watching. And then he relays the message back to the people he's talking to.
Yeah.
And there's an example of, you walk in here and you're just like, well, I'm just at my workout with my buddies hanging out. And it is that, but it's also the people that come through PowerTech are actually people that are like parts of major teams, whether it's OHL, NHL, whatever.
Yeah.
And we talk because people talk, you know? And so it was just a good little example that I wanted to give them about, you have to always be on, man. And you're immature kids, like, you're just hitting puberty right now. Like, it's not really fair necessarily that every single thing you do is going to be watched and be talked about for the most part.
Yeah.
And so you have to be aware of that. It's easy to forget. It's easy to get into like just the routine of what you're doing and take for granted what you have going on. But at the end of the day, it could just be one moment where you do something and someone saw it, or somebody was paying attention, and doesn't even necessarily have to be how you behave.
Yeah.
But it just takes the one, you know, good or bad, just takes the one, you know? So it's just a good little message. So I thought that was a nice thing to get your thoughts on.
So that surprises me, because that surprised me that you had that talk with them.
Mm-hmm.
Not because you had a talk with them. It surprised me because of the way they were on the ice last night. They weren't good.
Really?
They were not good.
Very interesting.
So I pulled them in a couple of times. I said, okay, listen, I'm not giving you guys shit. I'm explaining a couple things on what I expect from you and your execution. And like, so one of the things we really work on, and it's funny, we just talked about passing last week and stuff. And it's like, and it's a skill that it just seems like it's just whatever. You know, whatever. So I was looking at a couple of the drills. Like, so now for the average guy watching a practice, I probably thought that was a great practice. But for me, the standard's a lot higher, right? So I was looking at, when you're doing a drill, does the intensity have to go down because you have to think? Because we're doing a couple timing passing drills and stuff like that, but like all the technique and all this stuff, it's just not there. Like I can tell that they're just like, whatever, coach, like whatever. And I don't like to sit there and say, do you guys know who I train?
Right.
They know, and I don't like to do that. I don't like to. I like to gain respect because I'm doing a good job.
You've
now.
earned it. Yeah.
Right. So I had to call them in a couple of times and just not give them shit, but explain hockey to them and intensity. Like you're allowed to move your feet. You're allowed to think. Like don't just go and do drills and stuff like that. Like you said, people are going to ask me. Well, there was the one scout that called me a couple weeks ago about he wants to watch that whole group of kids, and I said, yeah, I'll give you the book on every one of them. And it's amazing how they forget, or so that's one thing. So at the end of the session, I had just a couple minutes left, and I designed it so I can just talk to them for a second. And I said kind of not what you said, but I said, guys, listen, man, I've been doing this a long time, and I don't want you to say, oh, because you did those guys, like, but that's the reality.
Yep.
That's the reality, and to be on the ice with me, there's a certain level, and then I have a certain expectations. And if you don't want to meet that certain level, like I don't want to train you. I said, because honest to God, the thing is, I want you to actually be a really good hockey player, and I want to enjoy doing it. But the funny thing is like, I remember Charlie and going into minor bantam. He might have been major bantam. He was like maybe a little bit different breed because he was like this was him, like
he was in the PowerTech
hockey. And he says it right now. He goes, Dad, you helped me so much even to this day. But it's just a weird age because you're still trying to be cool. You're still trying to, talk and on the ice and have fun. And you have to have all that stuff. But there's a time where you have to dial it in. And for a lot of them, if someone's asked me about them, I'd say, yeah, he's a good kid. He's all right. Is he dialed in as a hockey player? Yeah.
Right.
But people are always watching, and but it's weird because there's a certain age where it kind of maybe it kicks in and maybe it never does. I don't know. I still don't know.
Well,
but sorry, one more thing.
Yep.
The other thing is, just for people listening, because I don't want the message to be taken the wrong way. When you said you talk to them, someone's always watching, and you always have to be dialed in. Yeah, you do. And that's what I said to them. I expect everybody here wants to go somewhere. They all said yes. So that's the caveat. Is that the word?
Oh, well, caveat. And that's what I said that exact thing to them too.
Yeah.
I said, all you guys say you want to be hockey players, whether you do or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm just, if you don't care, and I said that, if it doesn't matter, then you don't have to listen
That's
to us. It
different.
doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
But I'm assuming
we treat you as if you want to go somewhere.
Right.
And that's the right way to go.
Yeah. You're training with the elite of your age.
Yeah.
And you're verbally, you are saying to us that this is something you want. Now, what your actions show are different than what you say, or they're the same as what you say, but that's what people are going to judge you on, your actions. Nobody cares what you said. Everyone, when I was a kid, I played Windsor AAA, and one year we had a magazine thing that we came out with, a team. It was like a picture day, whatever, and we had on the pages was the picture of the kid and a little bio and whatever when we were like 12. And one of the last there was like the standard thing they do with hockey players: what's your favorite food, favorite movie, whatever. At the bottom, what you want to be when you grow up. 95% was I want to play in the NHL.
Everybody.
You know how many on my team played in the NHL?
Yeah.
Zero. Not one.
Less than zero.
Yeah. So for these kids that are saying that, the kids that are saying that, it's like I said, it's an unfortunate reality that we are 14 and you're already getting calls for people asking about them.
Yeah. And
you're just at a disadvantage. If you don't realize that you need to be serious when it's time to be serious, then you're just at a disadvantage. And to go back, when we talked about like the partying thing and people were giving us heat, like, oh, you're saying you can never have fun or whatever. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying that. It's about when it's time to be serious, you have to be serious, and you have to pick your spots. And that was something that, even having not made it, that was something that I give my parents, my dad especially, a lot of credit for that, because that was something that they drilled into me when I was a little kid. Like, there's a time to be a jackass and there's a time to not be a jackass. Well, like, watch your mouth. Like, watch how you're behaving. Yeah. Make sure you're paying attention to people that have authority over you in whatever situation, because then you're the kind of person that people want around. So even if I know for me, if people ask me about some of these guys and they say, what's the deal on this kid? What I would say, if there's somebody who is listening and trying and giving good effort and whatever, I would say they're a decent player, but they really listen. They're really coachable, and they really actually try to get better. So if you, it might be a kid you take a chance on, or it might be a kid you give an extra look or an extra opportunity or whatever, because it's a kid that looks like he could he could do something,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And with some of these other guys, and it's not just that 07 group, it's with all the guys that
It's
I
every
train.
age.
It's every age.
Yeah, for sure.
It's when you guys come in here, anywhere. It could be your class. It could be at school. Like they, you know, something that these people say that you have to watch out for. They might ask your teachers in school, like how you're doing. And do they always ask your teachers about you? No, they don't.
A lot of scare tactics.
Yeah,
but
it's a lot of scare
at
tactics.
the end of the day, they want a good hockey player.
But the principle stands, though. They're going to ask somebody about you.
100%.
And you don't know who the somebody is,
Yeah.
whether it's your coach or your assistant coach or a dad on the team who knows a guy that's asking him. Like, you don't know, right? And so you just have to be aware of how you're conducting yourself.
Well,